I do think, because in talking about like these relationships and like healthy reasons why you get in, which we'll get into, healthy reasons why you should get into a relationship or ones get into a relationship, but all the unhealthy reasons. I think the common theme, or a common theme in the unhealthy reasons why people get into relationships is not seeing and not doing the work while you are single in order to be ready for a relationship. It's not just kind of you're like floating and existing as a single human, just like, you know, what is it? Frozen in time. What is that thing that they do in space? In like cryo or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? In like all the sci-fi movies. It's irrelevant. But
I'm like really trying to think of what you're talking about.
Like
and I know like it's at the
like
tip
in
of my
Interstellar
tongue.
when
Yeah,
they
it's
like when they're traveling
cryo
like light.
sleep.
Yeah, I think it's cryo sleep. I think that's what it is.
Yikes.
Yeah, so you're not just like in a cryo sleep stage when you're single, just kind of existing, and then
all of a sudden you're perfect.
Person here, yeah, exactly. Perfect or ready to go, ready for a relationship.
I wish it was like that, honestly.
Like a little Barbie doll, like coming out of the package.
Hey man, why can't it be like that?
Yeah.
Tell me.
No, honestly, if it was,
I think we'd be a lot happier.
I think I
Like
would agree.
Bella Porter talking, build a bitch, please. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. Are you kidding me? I'll take one from there, the arm from that one, the brain of that one. Oh hell
Horrible.
yeah! Hey, yeah, I love that.
Oh my god,
It'd be so easy.
it would.
I wouldn't have to work on myself. Just be perfect for me, out of the box.
That's literally going against the very thing we were saying.
Oh yeah, I'm aware. I'm also acknowledging that it would be easier.
Nice.
Like I can't fantasize. I do the work, okay? I do the fucking work. Let me have my fantasy. Hey yo,
I'm dead. I'm dead. Oh my god.
Only half joking.
That. I can't with you. Oh my gosh, that unhinged.
I love myself sometimes. It's so funny.
But yeah, there's like the theme of like, okay, like the hopeless romantic. Like, what are they not doing that's making them being a hope? Because I still consider myself a hopeless romantic. I don't let myself let up on that. Like, I didn't strip that identity from me because I've grown as a human and I'm like more mature. And I'm like, I'm not hopeless romantic anymore. I still am.
So what does that look like with the growth that you have had over the years?
Well, I think the aspect of it that is important is what these hopeless romantics are lacking, or the people who just like kind of slide into these relationships and yada, yada, yada. They're seeking comfort. They're not doing the work that needs to be done on themselves when they are like in these states of singleness, and two, like really truly allowing themselves to be alone and like look in that mirror, look at yourself.
Yeah.
No one else behind you. It's just you.
Hopefully. Hopefully there's no one else there.
If there is, call 911.
Yeah. Call an exorcist. Be safe out there. That's so crazy. No one else behind you.
Oh my god.
Fingers crossed.
That one really got me. Oh my god, I'm crying.
Very good, very nice. I love this really for you.
Oh my god. And this is not to say I think maybe even a misconception, and as we talk about these concepts that may be like misinterpreted, is that you have to be like, well, we always say this word, like fully actualized, self-actualized human being in order to enter a relationship. But I think what is required is self-awareness. Sure. And self-awareness in just where you are at in that point in time, in that moment in space. Where are you at? And even because I would argue I've always been a very self-aware person to my detriment.
Yeah.
Damn, that yep was a little too.
Yep. I hear you. Continue.
Like, damn. Anyways, okay. I didn't judge you. Even in those times where I was interacting in like in unhealthy like situationships and dating around and just doing a bunch of wild stuff, I was always very self-aware about like where my mental state was at, where I was physically at, like in my time of life. Was I in this transitional period from college to like adult career life, et cetera, et cetera. And just being very honest with myself. Because I think that, self-awareness is like radical honesty with yourself,
Yeah.
And I think once you are okay with doing that, then you're leaps and bounds from where you need to be, more so than you may be aware that you are.
Yeah, no. And that radical honesty is so hard to get to, especially for the people that we're talking about in these specific situations. If I were to articulate the difference between, like, hopeless romance is not the problem.
Yeah.
I feel like if I were to qualify what a hopeless romantic is, it's just a person who like idealizes the process of love, right? And getting into that and experiencing the fullness of love and like its complete capacity, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty useful definition. Hopeless romantics take that to the utmost extreme in a sense that they're using it as a crutch to support their own either low perception of themselves, the reality of their situation that they don't find ideal, they don't want to be in, or there was one more thing in my brain. No, I forget what my other 2 points. Damn it! All right, go ahead.
I'm so
You're
sorry.
fine. No, that was just me.
Well, you were talking about just like a person who takes hopeless romance to the utmost
Extreme. Yeah.
extreme.
English.
I have a
Kicking your
bachelor's degree. I promise I'm educated. I'm an educated woman. And a part of that being is like a low perception of self. I think that is an aspect of like the hopeless romantic that people don't really take into account. Because I feel like I, at one point, in that pursuit of like all of like the dream love that you see in the movies, all that kind of stuff, in that pursuit of that, when I would not receive that from the men that I was dating and pursuing, I used that as like confirmation of like unworthiness as well. Because essentially like a hopeless romantic who's not actualized, well, I guess we're just going to use that word.
Drink every time we say actualize.
Right, exactly. I'm just, oh God, I need to think of another word.
It's the word that accurately describes what
it fully encompasses it.
I'm gonna look right now to see what other words. No, I know what it is. I just want to see if like the thesaurus is gonna help us out.
Right.
But continue with that. You're good.
Okay. So yeah, it's like a hopeless romantic who's like not fully actualized. It's coming from this foundation of, I think, a lot of insecurity, where you're kind of wanting the picture perfect thing, but also kind of struggling with the fact that you are not the picture perfect thing, right? And then that can kind of devolve and spiral down into like self-hate, for lack of better words, right? Because
you're not fitting your own ideal,
right?
Of
exactly.
What this whole romantic situation, like if you can't get the attention that you want from the people that you want the attention from,
right,
then you're not fitting the ideal either.
You're
You're
nothing.
worthless. Damn.
It's tough word, but that's how you feel, right? Yeah, I think that's like just something that's like not always like touched on when and talking about that topic. Did you find a thesaurus word for actualized?
Substinate.
I don't even know. I've never even heard that used in a sentence.
Actualize is the best word. Anyways, moving on. Moving right the fuck along.
So we were right, basically.
No, yeah. But what was I saying? I was saying they don't want to make sense of anything outside of what that fantasy is, right? I think the good thing about where you were in your hopeless romance, even when you were younger and doing all the stuff that you were doing, was you had a conceptualization of what things were outside of your little quote unquote bubble of hopeless romantic romanticism? Romantic?
Looks like we're both struggling with English today, aren't we?
Well, you're rubbing off on me. That's what I'm going
That's
off
what's
on.
happening.
Yeah, yikes. Your perception of your romance was grounded in a realistic ideal, right? So it's like, I know where I am right now, the self-awareness.
Yeah.
And I know what I would need to be to achieve the love that I want.
Right.
Not, I'm trying to emulate a type of romance that I saw on Bridgerton.
Yeah.
On that one
show.
movie that they're doing, the boombox thing. What? There's a movie. What
it's
movie
from a
is
movie.
that?
It's an
It's
old
the one
like
with
an 80s.
it's the one with oh, it might be Back to the Future, the 80s one. But they did that. I think they did that on 10 Things I Hate About You, no?
I think they did.
What's that guy's name? Heath Ledger?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's from there.
I don't think that was the original, but I think they also do it in that movie.
Yeah. So they're trying to emulate an experience because, man, I'll tell you this, media is so good at creating a sentiment of what you think you want to experience, right?
Yeah.
These actors are so good at being immersed in the emotion of the
Right.
situation. Again, I was just watching Bridgerton the other day, the Queen stuff. When
Queen
she was
Charlotte.
when she was like, spoilers, skip ahead a couple of minutes if you don't
spoilers.
want to hear this, but man, that was crazy when they were in the observatory and she stormed in right
my God,
after this. Right,
my heart calls to
I
you.
was like,
Cry.
I will leave right now and I'll be happy. We can have as many children as you need, as you want. You just have to tell me you don't love me. And he's like, get the fuck out, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? I was like,
It was so intense.
it hit.
Was so intense.
It was intense and it was beautiful and it was great. And they punctuated it with the under the bed scene with the old she never stopped loving him, even though she's like this pretentious queen.
Literally in tears.
I was like, man, I was on the verge.
On the verge.
I was on the verge. You know, as a man, why are you crying?
Anyways.
Yeah, right, exactly. But no, I was definitely like right there. I was like, this is crazy. And I thought to myself, like, this is just stirring the pot. Because now people are going to want this.
Right. Then I'm looking over
I can't breathe when I'm not with you. I can't breathe when I'm not with you.
like, why isn't my boyfriend telling me that?
Exactly.
Matthew?
My point, exactly. I'm just like, no, yeah, they're really good at showcasing and expressing a certain
and making it seem as if it's like this is 100% realistic
Exactly.
and totally like okay to ask
exactly.
to demand of
Right.
your like relationships with
So
your partner.
when you're in that, a person who doesn't want to deal with reality, who is watching a situation in media that is so beautiful, and they want that for themselves, they're going to try to recreate that in their lives. You get a situation that's just doomed to fail.
Yeah.
You get a situation that is going to end up breaking you apart because you, or not you, not the person specifically, but the situation isn't a situation that's taking into account all the other factors.
Right.
Like, love is just not emotion.
Yeah.
Love isn't just a intense experience of passionate interaction. It's so much more when you have to deal with a person just came home from work and they're having a long, hard day. And you want them to be immersed in you.
Right.
You want them to envelop you.
Right.
You want to be enveloped by their total, all-encompassing, unrealistic, deluding love.
Yeah.
You're going to be disillusioned really quickly. And instead of taking that disillusion with, oh, what I think isn't correct, you're going to project out onto the world and think that either one, you're not enough, like you were saying, or two, you just haven't found the right person. And your ideal human being is out there.
Yeah.
It's just not you. Fuck you. I'm
Fuck
moving
you.
on.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah. And then that ends up being like these, you end up and this is something that I 100% fall privy to, is like trying to control these narratives and try and like set the scene so that these things can happen. And oftentimes those moments with your partner that are like these like crazy like moments of like connectiveness and all that kind of stuff never happen when you think they do not happen on your anniversary. They don't happen on the birthdays. They happen on a random Thursday night
after the gym.
And for some reason y'all are just feeling one another, and it's like in that moment,
and it's magnetic and it's electric and it's beautiful, but
and completely unplanned.
It's not premeditated.
Exactly.
That was crazy. How did that happen? What were we doing? Like, whoa. Like, on a Tuesday? Are you on a Taco Tuesday? Are you kidding me? Oh, man. Like, that's actually insane. And I will say that it is possible to fabricate situations.
Yeah.
But you just have to suspend your disbelief. But in that suspension, your suspension of disbelief has to be motivated by reality.
Yeah.
You just can't not believe shit.
Yeah.
Like, if you just don't believe reality, then
there's
no suspension. Everything will be fake. Everything will be forced. Nothing will be what you want.
Right.
And you're just going to be there gripping so aggressively at an idea that you want to happen. That will never be.
You're unable to like do the thing that you need to do in order to get the thing.
And just like the Great Gatsby, the green light motherfucker. Always the unattainable thing, man. See, we did go to school. Yeah. You knew exactly what I was talking about.
Great Gatsby. I read that. AP literature, by the way.
I'm just saying. So yeah, just like the Great Gatsby and the green light.
Yeah.
That became his motivation for existing. So he had no inclination of any other way to persist in life.
Yeah.
And he created the entire situation, from the new money parties to being the most talked about individual to all the illegal stuff he was doing, up until the point where it eventually ended his life. Yeah. Right?
Oh, what an interesting interpretation of that book. Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened.
Like so applicable. Yeah.
That's what happened. Like, all his energy, all his motivation was trying to fulfill this fantasy, trying to exist in a way that was consistent with the life that he wanted. Right. And it was his downfall, essentially. Yeah, literally. So, if that is your motivation, if that is your reason for living, then you have no motivation to discover anything else, because you're so entrapped in making what you want a reality. Which, that's not what they meant by manifesting. Yeah, no. That's not what they meant, not at all.
You can't be so all-consumed and obsessed. It's very different, for sure.
Yeah.